I know leaks and rumors have suggested otherwise, but I'm still convinced the notch won't change this year because of how long the notch has.
It will. It has
unchanged.
to.
Really?
It has to.
Oh,
it
no.
Has to.
It has to change?
They can't get away with the same notch since 2017.
Really? Wow.
I feel like we say this every year, though.
Yeah.
But okay, this year, I sound like an addict. This time we're gonna change. This time I'm gonna be better.
Well, that's how I feel. It's not that I don't want it to shrink. I feel like we've been saying the same notch argument since 2019. It's been like, it's got to be this time.
Yeah. Listen, I believe that Apple was toying around with the skinnier notch, but I think they've settled on the less tall, the shorter notch. I think that sounds most realistic. It is an S year as well. I mean, I feel like it has to. I just feel like it has to happen. I feel like they were probably not doing it this year because we didn't get promotion. But I have a feeling if they're going to do a screen upgrade, they're going to go like all the way, rather than something subtle.
So
my thought process is that they want to pretend the notch isn't a thing. So to shrink the notch would be to acknowledge that having a notch is bad. Therefore, that would make their older iPhones be considered worse or something. So my prediction is that Apple is just saying the notch is there and no one cares. It's fine. It's the iconic look. And they're not going to remove it until they can completely get rid of it, not like reduce it or compromise with a camera hole. I think they're just like, it's there. You just got to live with it until we find a way to completely abolish it, which won't be soon.
Yeah.
So
That's fair.
That's my theory.
for ever since the iPhone 10 had the notch, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is too big." I was like, "No, I love the notch. It's iconic. I don't want it to change." If you look on that little made for iPhone logo, the MFI logo that you see on like different products, back in the day, it used to be an iPod, right? Made for iPod, and it was just a rounded rectangle with a circle, and it was very simple. Just a simple icon, but you got the picture. That was an iPod. No one was ever going to confuse that circle with a rounded rectangle for anything else. It was an iPod. Very iconic. When we got to iPhones, iPhone OG through iPhone 8 Plus, we had, or I guess even with the SE, it was rounded rectangle, line, small circle. And that was very iconic, and that never changed. Now we're in the iPhone 10 generation, where we have just rounded rectangle with a little notch at the top. And the ratio of the notch is very pleasing. I sometimes just look at it. I love how the curve. Shut up! No, that's not weird.
I'm not saying anything.
I don't stare at my.
I just.
I don't stare at my phone and just drool. Never.
It does help people know which way they're holding their phone.
That's fair.
Which my dad ran into that once when I first sold him my 11 Pro Max. He picked it up upside down and then was like, oh, and then tipped it over. So I feel like I do agree that the iPhone would look very kind of bland without one.
Yeah.
It would just kind of become, and then once everyone else is doing no notch, design all becomes meaningless at the every phone just kind of becomes the same.
That's
so
fair.
I don't know, but it's not a great reason to keep the notch in the first place.
Yeah, I want to see some innovation there. I accepted it just because the 12 was so good, but I'm ready. I'm ready for.
Would you be okay with a camera hole cut out?
I think I would. I think I just anything. I just want something different than the notch. It's like not even. Is it? My point is like, is it problematic now? No. Does it work? Yeah. But it's like we could say that about anything. It's just like, well, should we just stop innovating entirely? Should we just leave it?
Yeah.
Like, should we just keep the notch for whatever? But I agree. Like, I'm not somebody who's like the notch is problematic. I completely agree that it's like it's fine. Like it does help you with orientation and it's good and But I just like I'm not gonna be just like I'm not gonna let Apple take this one. All right, I gotta be vocal and I'm just like you with the Mini. With you with the Mini, it's the same thing. It's like you don't want to become complacent with this thing or not be vocal about something you care about because. I know they watch all of our videos and
totally.
Obviously,
and the podcast.
So, would you go as far as to not upgrade if the notch is the same?
No.
Okay. So he's going to be vocal about it, but
you're
not
willing
that
to
vocal.
put your foot down.
Listen, I have never not gotten the new iPhone every year, and I don't plan to stop.
I plan to
Hello,
stop.
my name's Nick, and I am an addict.
Like literally.
Well, I'm glad you will.
Here's my dilemma. I have a really hard time knowing that there's something better out there that I don't have. And I don't know
That's a
where
good
this
point.
comes from. Like, but if there's a product that is better, I will not be satisfied until I have the best.
This was a clip from the Tailosive Podcast Archive. If you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button. And of course, hit that like button to ensure that a Google Pixel sheep has one more tear fall from their eye.